Welcome to Conversation with Zaki Baruti, with your host, Zaki Baruti. And like always, I want to give a shout out to my biological family. What's happening? To the Universal African People's Organization family, what's going on? And to New Life Evangelistic Center family, headed by Reverend Rice. Keep up the great work, and a shout out to our cameraman, Bob. On that note, we're going to have another great show because in studio with me is an educator who is a very progressive educator. And being a former educator, I'm just so excited for her being on the show with me. And we're going to have a continual of discussions around education, which is a very important institution that impacts our community very deeply. So to that end, I do have Dr. Barbara Anderson, who's with Community One organization, and I just want to welcome you.
Thank you.
Okay then. Now, whenever I have my programs, I always start off with my guests, for all the listeners, the thousands of listeners who's tuned in, a little background information about the person that I'm interviewing. So wherever you want to share of your background, would you be so kind to do so?
Be happy to. First of all, I was educated here in St. Louis Public Schools, as a matter of fact. My very first day of class took place in 1958. I continued all my education here in St. Louis Public Schools, all the way through 1970 when I graduated. Went to college, decided I wanted to be a teacher, came back home, went to Harris Teachers College, and I have been in education ever since. I have taught everything.
And that, what year you started in education again?
My first full-time class was in 1976.
Okay, 1976.
But my education started in 1958.
Okay.
So I'll be speaking to you not only as an educator, but as a student. I am a product of St. Louis Public Schools.
Okay then. So, I failed to make mention also, we have a publication, a quarterly publication, the African News World, and you've had a number of articles in various issues, which we will show in additional shows. We present them. But you've been kind of outspoken on some of the issues impacting education. But first of all, before I get into that, what is the state of education as you see it for St. Louis City, as well as throughout this country, especially for Black students?
Well, to be honest with you, a model that I have seen reproduced in district after district after district is a business model, not an educator's model. It is not concerned as much as it should be with the education of our students. They let all of their decisions be guided by budgets and the prices of different programs that it costs to bring to our students. And a lot of those programs we don't need. What we need to do is to let our teachers teach. We need to have more autonomous decisions made by educators rather than being led by someone at another office, at another place, or someone who's hawking a program. We need to concentrate on educating, truly educating our students. We need to get back to that.
So from what you just said then, so, my original question was the state of education. So would you have a thumbs up or a thumbs down? A thumbs down.
Yes.
Okay, then. Now, within that process, one of your recommendations was that the teachers on hand should be autonomous in terms of making decisions as to how they would carry out their mission in their classroom?
Yes. One of the things that I really was disappointed in the district in doing was adopting certain programs, learning programs, that were defined by the phrase implementation with fidelity. In other words, it was more important to the backers of the program and to central office, to be quite frank with you, that we followed the program letter by letter, line by line, page by page, not really paying attention to what we needed to do with our students. There were times, many times, and I think that they still continue, that groups of people would come to classrooms to observe the teaching going on, and their comments would be, well, you're not on page 45.
Wow.
You're not teaching this particular lesson. As a matter of fact, as an elementary principal at Lexington Elementary School, I'm proud to say, I had a kindergarten teacher who was visited by one of those groups representing the vendors program that we were using at the time. And the group said to this kindergarten teacher, "You're not on the right page. You're like 40 pages ahead of where you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be on the right page." My teacher very sweetly said, "We've done that. We're past that. And I'm not going to hold my students back to stay faithful to your program. My job is to teach. My job is not to implement your program."
Okay. So in terms of going back to your role in education, now give me those, you taught at, how many schools have you taught at, or you became administrator? I mean, give us that history too.
I began teaching in 1976 at Clark 7th and 8th grade center. It was the only school of its kind in the city. There were 4 7th grade rooms and 4 8th grade rooms. Very well, it was a good model, and we did well. Went from there, from middle school to a special program teaching citizenship education to kids. Left there and came back into the system and went to the South Side, where I taught at Visual and Performing Arts Center for several years. Went from there, that was middle school. Then I went to Shaw Elementary School. Then I went to Marquette Middle School, and both of those were visual and performing arts schools. I left there, came to the North Side, where I became a teacher in Langston Middle School, so that's middle school. And I left Langston to become an administrator. In about 2001, I became an instructional coordinator. I was appointed as principal of Lexington in, I believe it's 2004.
And how long did you serve there?
8 years. I retired in 2012.
Okay, then. We need to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Do you have any idea how many people are having to sleep outside? Yes, viewers of the Zaki Baruti Show, you are being called into action at this time. Your help is urgently needed here at the New Life Evangelistic Center. Our teams are going out every day, and we need your prayers. We need your gifts here because we receive no city, state, or federal dollars. How many times I have to personally run to the store in order to just buy meat and bread? People could be making sandwiches and bringing them to the doors here at 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. They could be buying cases of water and bringing them here so we can get these out to the homeless people. 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. They could write out those checks and send them in because we have to buy this. They're depending upon us. And not only that, they get bus tickets, hundreds and even thousands of bus tickets distributed to so many people that need transportation assistance. We can't do it without each and every one of you. It's New Life Evangelistic Center, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri. That's 63166. You can give online at nlecstl.org. Your prayers are urgently needed at this time. Come on, and you watch the Zaki Baruti Show, you hear about the various issues. Now it's important that we respond to those issues by helping so many people that have fallen through the safety nets, in spite of the promises of the politicians. So many people are hurting right now. They're out there. They don't know where to go. What are they doing? I don't see hardly anything in St. Louis County, Jefferson County, St. Francis County. I can mention county after county, Madison County, St. Clair County. They want to ship them to St. Louis. St. Louis can't take care of all the problems. But we got to get all these other counties involved. In the meantime, we got to get your church involved. We need you. I've got a book I've written that if you'd like a copy of that, it's called The Case for Compassion. We'll be happy to share that with you if you request it. When you send in your gift to New Life Evangelistic Center, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, that's 63166. You can give online at nlecstl.org. It's called The Case for Compassion, citing over 2,000 Bible verses that are used throughout the Scriptures, and yet we don't hear about this. I preach like we should. You can get a copy for your minister. But let's get our churches involved. Let's reach out. Let's help those that Jesus referred to. The least of these, after you've done to them, you've done it unto him. Let's help them right now. Please get involved. Call us at 314-421-3020 or share that much needed gift at P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri. That's 63166. You can give online at nlecstl.org.
Now is the time to pray. And as you're praying, please remember New Life Evangelistic Center and its daily work among the hurting, the hungry, and the homeless. Remember the Bible, ask and it shall be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it shall be opened to you.
Welcome back to Conversation with Zaki Baruti. And still with me is Dr. Barbara Anderson, a member of Communities One. And she's a great educator that we'll have a number of conversations with her over a period of time. In terms of how did you like teaching? I'm a former educator. I enjoy teaching. What about you?
I loved teaching. I always wanted to be a teacher. I never wanted to do anything but teach. As a matter of fact, it took one of my professional friends 10 years to convince me to go into administration because I loved teaching that much.
Okay, then. As a teacher, and I'm going to ask this on two levels, as a teacher and as a principal, what would you say was one of your greatest highlights or experience that you had within the classroom and your most heartbreaking one?
Now, as a principal, the most success that I enjoyed was in creating a collegial and collaborative culture. Teachers were not afraid to do their jobs. What was the other part of that? As
the
a
other
student?
question, as the highest point and the lowest point, or on both levels, as a principal as well as an teacher.
Okay. The lowest point for me, and I'm going to stick with the principal thing, the lowest point for me was being told that I could not continue a very successful protocol that we had implemented because I was told I could not do it.
What was the protocol?
It was ordering from a specific publishing company, and I was given an email and a direct message. You can no longer order from this particular company. It's called Options, as a matter of fact. And we were very successful with Options. And like I said, one year I was told, you can no longer order from this company. And the reason was, and I asked, why can't I order from this company anymore? And my answer was, you cannot order from this company anymore. That's a low point. When I'm asking an educational question.
And they didn't give you a response?
The response was, that was the response.
That was the response. Wow.
I had another wonderful experience that was trashed. 1 year, we had some students in from Duke University, as a matter of fact.
Wait a minute, this experience addressing the up or the down?
Up.
Okay, go
Well,
ahead.
the up and the down. It's actually, it both happened.
Okay.
One of the highest.
As an educator, as a teacher or as a principal?
As a principal.
Okay.
And then I'll switch to the old thing that made me become a principal. I had a group of students who volunteered from Duke University, and I was the principal of a summer school at that time. And these young people came in and tutored my students. And usually in summer school, kids start coming, when school first starts, and then as the summer goes on, they all drop off. Not while these Duke students were in my school.
Wow.
They did a beautiful, wonderful job. After 2 years, I was told that I could no longer have the Duke University students in my school because they were, quote unquote, and I'm saying this for a reason, they were not trained well enough. They had not had enough education to be in classrooms with my students.
Wow.
And so that program was shut down. But I had perfect attendance, prizes, and we just had a wonderful time.
Wow.
Now, as a teacher, I think the thing that bothered me the most was, as a baby teacher, I came in the middle school level, and I was told immediately, if you have more than 10% of your students with failing grades, it's your fault. And also, I started out as an 8th grade teacher.
Wait a minute, say that again now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm on air. I just want to be absolutely clear
10%.
on that. Okay. They said what now? Again? Start again?
If I had more than 10% of my class needing to repeat a class, then it was my fault.
Okay.
And
that's interesting. That's interesting. I mean, as I say, I'm going to have you on the show a number of times because as a high school teacher, I never forget, it broke my heart. I had one of my students, never forget his name. Like I said, his name, I ain't gonna say his total name, but Reginald. I really liked this kid. And I used to give them a vocabulary test early, just to see where they're at.
Right.
And sadly to say, this test was basically from the 3rd grade all the way up to college level. A lot of my students couldn't get past 4th, 5th, 3rd. I mean, and I'll never forget, though, I had them grading each other's past tests. And Reginald, he kept getting the wrong answer mathematically in terms of like 100 questions minus 20 wrong, you should come up with 80.
Right.
But he couldn't get the answer. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. And I did. He did not know how to place his digits in the format to subtract.
Exactly.
But he's in the 12th grade.
Correct.
Passed on.
Yes.
People see the failure. Some of the folks.
Yes.
So anyway, that's an experience I had. So I kind of relate to what you were just saying. So they were saying no more than 10% and everything is on you.
Yes.
And what grade was that?
8th.
8th grade. Wow.
And most of my students were not 10 years younger than me. So I understood what they were saying, that it doesn't make sense to have a 15-year-old sitting in an 8th grade class. Well, my question is, shouldn't I make sure that 15-year-old knows something above the 3rd grade level before putting him in middle school or high school?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But that's the system that was used. They called them social promotions.
Right.
That killed us.
Right. Absolutely. 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 We have to take another quick break.
Okay.
Do you feel overwhelmed at this particular time? Needs coming at you from every direction? Anxiety building up within you to scream, I can't take it anymore? Go on a prayer walk. Let the rivers of living water flow through you. Let the word of God come alive within you. For example, at Philippians 4, 6, and 7, where it says, do not be anxious for anything, but every situation with prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. So come to God at this moment. Begin to pray and let prayer build that relationship with Him. Walk in the garden as Adam and Eve did. Talk to God. Be anxious for nothing, but everything with prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. Let your requests be made known to God and allow His peace, His rivers of living water that passes all understanding, sweep through your life right now and watch Him do exceedingly beyond what you can even ask or think.
Behind me is the New Life Evangelistic Center administrative offices in Overland, Missouri. And this is where we shoot our shows for our worship shows and the Here's Help Network. And it's also where Zaki Baruti and Bernie Hayes shoot their shows. You can find all of these shows at the New Life Evangelistic Center app, the NLEC TV app. You can also access them on your tablet or on your computer. And this is how you can stay up to date with all the things that New Life Evangelistic Center is doing. There are so many different programs that we've got going on, and God is doing many exciting things through partners like you. So if you want to support the work that New Life is doing, then please access and give through the app. You can go online at nlecstl.org or give us a call at 314-421-3020. Again, 314-421-3020. But this is the best way to get plugged into the amazing work that New Life is doing through people like you. And so there is something for you to get involved in today. And we are so thankful for our partners. Only through the grace of God and your gift are we able to bless others today.
Welcome back to Conversation with Zaki Baruti. In the studio with me is Dr. Barbara Anderson, an educator, and we're looking at the whole issue of education. And we'll be doing a series of that because I'm so excited that, like me, you've been outspoken in terms of addressing some wrongs of administrators above you, and you've been out here trying to help the young people that you had under your tutelage. So with that said, and in a number of the articles that we have had of you in our newspaper, you've been kind of critical of the public education system, right?
Yes.
Okay, like me, okay. But most recently, you have a publication or a thought wave that it's not hopeless, or
It's not hopeless.
it's not hopeless.
The
educational
answers.
system is not hopeless.
They're not hard fixes. They're not hard. What we need to do is keep the politics and the money out of it. Make the decisions based on your kids.
Right. Now that becomes the issue, though, because as you know, first of all education is state-controlled, individual states.
Unfortunately.
That mandates the kind of curriculum that supposed to be taught our children. Then it's portioned out to school boards that then make the kind of decisions that can impact. My history, been taught, first of all, raised and been taught in East St. Louis, and had, I believe, a great education through a predominantly black school setting for me. I had some of the greatest teachers. But as I became an educator, for me, I saw a corrupt school board that was there for their own self-aggrandizement at the expense of the children.
Correct.
And, off air, we both shared our experience. I had an experience my first year teaching at Wright Junior High School, where I had to paint my own classroom, put up my own bulletin board, and in fact, organize some other young teachers at that time coming into the school system. That on the weekend we would come to the school to repair a gymnasium that had been closed for several years. I couldn't believe that.
Yes.
And you had an early experience that you were sharing. Share with our audience your early experience, and then we'll get back to the question of, is there hope?
Okay. I was a young teacher at AAA Bush, the Athletic Academy.
And where was this located?
Oh gosh, I can't remember the name.
Here in St. Louis?
It's in the city.
Okay.
And we're on the south side. As a matter of fact, if anyone is listening and can look it up, it's now the AAA Character School, but at the time it was AAA
So it's a
Bush.
private school.
Oh no,
It's
it's
a
a St. Louis public school.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And at the Athletic Academy, when I first arrived, we had to meet our children and be ready to work at 6 o'clock. In other words, the buses would arrive at Bush at 6 o'clock in the morning. But when I first got there, we had no floors, no closets.
When you say no floors, I mean,
It was dirt.
Dirt. Oh.
It was dirt.
What year is this?
Oh, God, it would have been, I left the VPAC, so it would have been
Well, we're talking about the 80s or 90s.
80s, late 80s, early
Late
90s.
80s. Wow, no. Actually, dirt floor. I'm sorry, you just catching me by.
Dirt floors. The construction workers were there with us. They were working on the school while we were teaching.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. It was a great experience. We spent the 6 hours doing the regular stuff and then 2 hours after school doing the athletic stuff. But the thing is, we were with our kids from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m.
Wow.
Straight through.
Wow. I salute you on that. That's been real tough for me. 6 a.m. in the morning. So you had to get up 4:30 a.m. somewhere like that to get ready to get prepared. Well, again, I salute you and those teachers who were able to do so. So we got to take our last break.
Since 1972, New Life Evangelistic Center has been on the front lines, reaching out, helping the hurting, the homeless, the fatherless, the widowed throughout mid-America. Yes, although it's had its roots in St. Louis, it now has expanded throughout mid-America into India and Africa, Haiti, and other places around the world. Oh, what a history New Life Evangelistic Center has. And we have many of these history books available to you, and they're right there on Amazon. And if we can help you get one of those, you contact us at 314-421-3020. But in addition to all that, we want to share a lot of that history with you right here as we take a look at how the work began and how the Lord has taken us throughout the years and the miracles that we have seen, all because of caring people like you. You're part of the history of the New Life Evangelistic Center. And we're believing that 2025 is the year that the center is going to become alive and seeing the Lord do exceedingly beyond we can even ask or think. We're on the verge of miracles. Yes, New Life Evangelistic Center has a rich history, but there's much more yet to come. And that's why I'm inviting you to familiarize yourself with the history of the past and be a part of the miracles of the present. Yes, let the Lord God Almighty work in you and through you. Let Him do exceedingly beyond what you can ask or think. He's got a purpose for you. And we want you to be able to live out that purpose as you get directly involved in the history of New Life Evangelistic Center and what the Lord is doing now.
When you partner with New Life Evangelistic Center, you impact so many people. The economy in this country is really hurting so many all over. And we're seeing the number of people who are experiencing homelessness rise. You can make a difference today by giving your gift online at newlifeevangelisticcenter.org. newlifeevangelisticcenter.org. Make a real big change in the lives of so many.
Welcome back to Conversation with Zaki Baruti, and we only have a couple more minutes with Dr. Barbara Anderson, and you know I've been saying over and over on our break, I got to have you back because I truly enjoyed the discussion of education. Now, on the other side, I try to get to the question of is there hope, and you're saying that hope. So in one word or two words, why do you say it's hope?
Because we have the opportunity to put something together in St. Louis Public Schools that hasn't been seen in years, and that is an educational landscape where students can begin in pre-K and go all the way through community college without having to transfer anywhere else. All buildings are located in the same area. We would be able to have parents who put all of their kids on the bus at the same time at the same stop. And the kids who need pre-K or elementary, they have Dunbar to attend. Those students who need middle school, you have Dunbar still, because we're going to go pre-K through 8, and there's research to back that up. On the high school level, you're right across the street from Vashon. On the community college level, you're right across the street from the Harrison Community College building.
So you're projecting it now, or you're in the authority to make it happen? That becomes the issue.
We are making the plan. We will make the presentation.
And when you say we are?
Communities One.
Are you making the presentation to the elected school board?
We're going to request that.
Oh, okay then. So you're projecting a vision of how to enhance education.
We want to create rather than disband. All of their answers have always been take the kids out of the community, take the kids out of the school. Right. We want to bring them in.
Okay, so we'll get into more detail of that plan in our future shows. But right now, if anyone who wanted to be supportive of your effort, how would they get in contact with you?
They could either call me directly, 314-677-7780.
You went rather fast. Can you slow it down?
314-677-7780.
Okay, then. And is there an email that is associated?
Yes. It's Brandy, Brandy, 5350 @yahoo.com.
And very briefly, because we only got 1 minute left, Community One, that organization, what is that? Real quick.
They're an organization that originally was fighting very, very hard not to continue to close public schools and to slow down the creation of charter schools.
Oh, okay then. On that note, doggone it, I thought I'd turn my phone off. So on that note, I want to thank you for being a guest of mine, and I pray that your work becomes totally successful for the benefit of our community. Again, thank you. And to my audience, like always, know issues before you go to vote, but make sure you go to vote, but know the issues, as well as join organizations that speak truth to power and have a history of uplifting the people. We say join the Universal African Peoples Organization. On that note, may God bless each and every one of you.